Let's make some noise. Come on.
All right. Thank you very much, Nick Foles, and welcome everybody back to the later edition of The Final Word here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network with your boy MattyB on the call on this Monday, August the 25th. And how do I follow up? How do I come on after that? After the Philadelphia Phillies tonight in a series that should have been taken with the seriousness and the mental acuity of a playoff series. The Phillies go out today and just sort of I don't know, skip through the outfield, skip through the infield. They got terrible pitching, 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position, defense from hell, questionable decisions by the manager yet again with Jordan Romano. And once again, can't score any runs beyond the third inning as they fall tonight 13-3 to the Mets, thus now shrinking that lead in the NL East to 6, which I guess on paper, on the surface, 6-game lead, I'll take that. But I told you this the other night, and I said this yesterday during the trifecta of MattyB when I was on for 3 straight shows. The Mets are going to come into this series like it's a playoff series because the Mets know they get swept, or if they lose 2 out of 3, their NL East chance is pretty much done. The Phillies needed to come into this series with the same sort of intensity and the same sort of outlook as a playoff series. And unfortunately, I think they are. And that's what really scares me, is that this is the same exact performance that we have seen from the Phillies in playoff series of the past. This is the same exact type of baseball we have gotten from this team in these playoff or playoff-like atmospheres. And this is what has concerned me since the day the season ended last year up to this point right now. And this is what makes me a non-believer in the ultimate goal of winning a World Series. Not that they lost tonight. That's not what this is about for me. This is not about the loss. This is about the way they lost. This is about the uninspirational play from a World Series contender with an opportunity to kick dirt over the coffin of the New York Mets. And they went out there and just were terrible in every aspect of, if you could be bad in baseball, the Phillies found a way to do it tonight. From the hitting batters to the errors, to the wild pitches, to the 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position, to not scoring any runs after the third inning, to the decision to put Jordan Romano in this ball game when it was still a ball game. And yeah, I am going to start attacking some of the pitching right now because, listen, I know I ain't the only one who's seen it. I know I ain't the only one who's noticed it over the past 5 months. This guy doesn't have it. He doesn't have it upstairs. He doesn't have it. He doesn't have it technically. He doesn't have it at all. But we're going to hurt him out there. And what was his start to his inning? Was a hit batter. Then he walked somebody, and then he gave up a single. Loads the bases with no outs. Now, at this point, he's already pitched to his 3-batter minimum. So you can actually go out and get him. You could actually have removed him from that game at that point. Or, here's a novel concept. Send your pitching coach out there to settle his ass down. Or, another novel concept, want the BCIB get up and walk out to the mound and settle his ass down. None of that happened. None of it. And they just kept rolling through. And then what happens a few batters later, we got a 3-run home run. The game is pretty much out of reach at that point. But it's a microcosm. Jordan Romano was a microcosm. What went wrong for this team tonight? The bigger picture is what this team is. And in these types of situations, they performed exactly what they are. And that's, to me, not a World Series winning team. So Phillies lose 13-3 tonight. Well, we'll continue the conversation so eloquently started on the Fighting's Final, not too much behind me. We got your day of Philadelphia sports history, your of the night segment, and your card review, as hopefully I can get through a whole show without having to drag you off the air. But but I just said I was going on the air, and you said okay. Now I'm on the air. What's up? Well, yes, that's what the deal is. So I want to try to my best to not be on the air all night long. I will try to get off the air at a reasonable time. Little offstage conversation going on, folks. Just bear with me. But all that stuff's on the table tonight here as we're back on our back on a Monday night. Nice to be here. Nice to be back. Barbara checks in. Hey, Matty, I don't know what the Phillies were doing tonight versus very lackluster. The Mets are just trying to make the playoffs. No, they're not. Barbara, the hell they are. They're trying to win a division. Keith Hernandez said, quote, Bryce Harper is an outfielder who insists on playing first base. Yeah, of course, it's multiple layered. And I went on a little tirade about how bad the Romano thing was. Yes, but he is not solely responsible for losing 13-3. No, he had help. And Bryce Harper in his decision to, I don't know what he was doing on the rundown. What did the kids call it today? A pickle? Okay, you're the first baseman. You got Soto going down to second. Throw the ball to second. You want to run the guy back to the base he started on, not where he would end. You want to force him back to where he began, just in case you do screw it up and he's safe. At least he's back on the base where he started and not advanced. But no, Bryce Harper, for some odd reason, running down the baseline like this, not throwing the ball, allows Soto to sneak into second base. Again, a microcosm is Jordan Romano. He had help. He had a lot of help. Max Kepler out in the outfield. When you're trying to keep runs off the board, he's got a manageable, legitimate attempt of gunning out a runner, coming down third base to score. And what does he do? He lobs it back into the infield like, oh, it's the second inning. Yeah, we'll get the run. I mean, again, I'm going to go back to the theme tonight with me. It was playoff intensity versus laissez-faire. I was concerned Rob Thompson wasn't going to handle this series like it was a playoff-like series. The Mets obviously are. The Mets are obviously going in the mindset that we're playing for our season right now, at least in the NL East terms. And we're going to go out there and we're going to give it everything we got. And we're going to leave it all out on the field. And the Phillies did not. Phillies are playing like it's April 7th. And we have 150 some odd games left to go in the season, not the end of August. 6 more games now at hand against the team chasing him in the division, a now 6-game lead in that division. And this is reason one why I am concerned that this team is just not a World Series winner. Talco said Romano absolutely threw at Vientos because he had 2 doubles. I disagree. I don't know if he threw at Vientos. I know Vientos tore them apart tonight, and so did who else kind of knocked them around. So Vientos had 2 hits, was 2 for 3 with the 2 doubles. Tyron Taylor with 3 hits as well. Jeff McNeil with 2 hits. Torrens was with a big night, he was 3 for 5 with 5 RBIs, to include the home run there, the 3-run jack that kind of chased this game out of question. So I don't know. Maybe we want to believe he threw at Vientos to make it better. I don't see why you would throw at him in that situation. Honestly, don't, Barbara. Again, we can also go back to why was Romano in the game at all? Just a very lackluster game tonight. A very concerning game because of the time of the season, the opponent, and what was on the line. Not it's wins or losses. I get it. And I don't know if you guys understand what I'm trying to say about this. It's not that they went out and lost tonight. It's not. It truly, to me, isn't. There's a winner and a loser to every game. It's the way they went about it. It's the way they were just seemingly not interested in playing this game after the 3rd inning. What in the hell is the offense is what it is. 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position. In a contrast, the Mets were 11 for 19. 11 for 19 with runners in scoring position. The Phillies batted 111 with runners in scoring position. The Mets batted with runners in scoring position 578. 111, 578. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out where this game kind of lost itself. But why can't the Phillies, and this has been an MO of them, and it's not necessarily that I am questioning the offense, because we've gone and done this all kinds of different ways all season long. We don't score any runs when starters are in. Then we come in and we blow out the bullpens. Lately, over the last 2 months or so, we score a lot of runs early, and then we fall asleep for the rest of the game. And that's what happened tonight. And again, reason number one that I did this to me is a far too familiar MO of the Phillies in these types of high pressure games, these playoff like games, these playoff type games. I'm just, it's too much. It's too familiar. And I hope it's not a harbinger of things to come for this team this year. And again, we got 2 more games with the Mets and then 4 next week. So I got it and all, but it's the way they lost that really concerns me a little bit. What day is the Eagles guy coming on? Who is the Eagles guy? I've got a couple Eagles guys waiting in the wings. Kyle Quinn is going to be back starting on September 2nd for the Birds Blast, which is our pregame show right here. And then referring to Jack Fritz, he'll be on tomorrow night. Me and Jack will cut it up tomorrow night, hopefully talking about a Phillies win and hopefully talking about a more competitive baseball game. So that's what you're talking about. That's who's coming on. So let's get into this thing. I know we're almost 15 minutes into the show, and I haven't really taken a breath, but let's strap it in, strap it on, strap it up. Put your head, hands, and feet inside the car at all times, and let's go. Your day in Philadelphia sports history. On this day back in 1965, the city's greatest individual rivalry. In 1965, Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell. We're always looking to one up the other. On this date, Russell literally got $1 up on Chamberlain signing with the Celtics for a single bill more than the Big Dipper. The contract was for $100,001 for 1 year. So, or per year, sorry. So there you go. It's kind of an obscure, vague fact. 1965, Bill Russell versus Wilt Chamberlain as they're competing at better contracts. Bill Russell got the deal by $1. And there you go. There's your day in Philadelphia sports history. Still pissed off, man. Yeah, Jack. Yeah, tomorrow night. Jack Fritz will be on tomorrow night. He's got to do his little post-game thing, and then he'll hop on after that. So, and I'll be delayed because of the post-game as well. So, our timing, we'll probably link it all up. So, tomorrow night, Jack Fritz from WIP will be a special guest here on the Final Word with MattyB. So make sure you're tuned in for that and all the other great programming we have here on the network. This Mets series will continue tomorrow. Steve Fuentes will have you, and I will take you on Wednesday for the season finale. Then on the flip side of the rest of the week, you already know what you got to look forward to. Thursday night at 9 is the Attacking Third. Fridays at 10:30 is the wraparound with Pat Bernard or Mike Laro, depending on Pat's internet. He told me he was getting the internet fixed today, or the computer looked at today. Said he was going to have. I was going to be the first person he called when he was back in the world of the living when it came to internet. So hopefully he's back on Friday night, and then on Saturday at about 6:30ish, or when the score goes 0-0, the clock goes 0-0, the Happy Valley Huddle, the Penn State football postgame show will make its debut here on the network. Penn State against Nevada, and Mike Laro will be your guide through Penn State football this year. So that'll be on Saturday night, and then on Sunday morning at 9. Your Sundays will never be the same with the PM and the AM program every Sunday morning at 9 o'clock. And starting on September 3rd at 7, props, locks, and parlays. No pressure sports betting with Mike Laro for entertainment purposes only. Making its debut on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. Make sure you're tuned in. And Mike will be coming at you every Wednesday at 7 through the football season, both NCAA and NFL. So hopefully up to about Valentine's Day, you'll be hearing from Mike giving his locks, props, and parlays. So all that great stuff coming on the network as we're trying to sort of catch our breath these days. So let's continue our discussion again. The Phillies 13-3 losers. I've kind of hinted on a lot of the problems of this game: defense, pitching, offense, right? But let's get a little bit more deeper into some of this stuff. Let's talk the pitching piece beyond Jordan Romano. Chris Sanchez, just not a good game. 5 1/3, 8 hits, 6 runs. They 5 of them earned, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, 94 pitches through 5 1/3 innings. The Phillies pitching tonight gave up 6 walks. 6. They gave up 6 walks tonight. They've never given up 6 walks all season. And of course, Romano, Robertson, and Ross all came in losing efforts. And of course, after that 3-run homer to make it 10-3, the game was over, and it was just a matter of hell. They should have thrown out a positional player to bat or to pitch at that point. But offensively for the Phillies, there is nothing really to report here, with the exception of Alec Bohm and his 2 RBIs that he was accounted for. Bohm would knock in Schwarber and Harper in the 3rd inning. At that time, to give the Phillies a 3-0 lead, and everything was coming up roses. You know, you start the game with the triple with Turner. Schwarber drives him in with a ground out, which I'll take it, man. It's productive. It's a productive at bat. And then after that, then you got Bohm with the 2 RBIs, but then it was really all Mets from that point forward, as the Mets would, after the Phillies built a 3-0 lead, the Mets would literally outscore the Phillies 13-0 the rest of the way en route to a blowout. And questions now are should be creeping back into your minds. Questions about this team and its playoff durability need to start creeping into your mind, because it's not about the win and the loss tonight. It's really not. And I think you guys are on point with what I'm saying. It's the way they lost. And this is the stuff that left such a sour taste in all of our mouths last October against the same team. Just the inability to compete on any level, pitching, offense, or defense. Just could not compete. And here we are tonight, and truly the first of a playoff-like game for 2025. And this is what we get. This is the performance you get from a team that has an opportunity to set the tone in the NL East right now. Now you're looking in a position here. Tomorrow you got Manaea against Luzardo. The Phillies got to win that game. They cannot lose this series. The Phillies cannot lose this series. And the series will come down to Jesus Luzardo and his up and down ways. Been better lately. But is he ready for the pressure? Is he going to handle the pressure better than the rest of the team did tonight? And this is what has kept me up nights since November. And leading into the playoffs, this is what I've been saying all summer long. You know what? 96 wins, 97 wins, 101 wins, whatever it may be, it doesn't mean jack to me. I got to see them perform in these high-pressure situations. I've had my eye on October. The big thing, the big hashtag, the big tagline back in April was, when things were not going well, 14-12, I think, for the month of April. Everyone was like, well, stop talking about October. Why are you talking? Why? Just enjoy what's in front of you. Don't look at October. How can you not? And sort of, how can you not look at October in late August? We're here, and we're still stuck in neutral. And that's what keeps me up. And that's what concerns me about this team moving forward. Mike has a lot of shows. Where's Al been? Al's doing what he's got to do. Al's, he's doing some time on the PM and the AM program. He does some fight and spinal stuff. Al's going to be jumping in and out of here. Al left the world behind for a reason, the business. And, I'm giving Al space. And when Al's ready to take on more of a responsibility, all he has to do is say the word, and it will be granted. So he's around. Al's doing what he's got to do. He keeps threatening to come back in a more permanent way, but nothing yet. But, no, Barbara, Al's around. Bowman's a good fielder. We need an upgrade at third. We need an upgrade at third. We need an upgrade in the outfield. We need an upgrade at first, apparently. We have a first baseman who doesn't understand the simple procedures of running a rundown. No, you're right. The Phillies are 1-9 the last 10 at Citi Field. Yeah, and what are they for the season now? 2-7 overall against the Mets. I mean, Is anybody else looking deep into those numbers? Listen, the Mets and Senga tonight was hittable, and the Phillies hit him. The Phillies hit him early, but they didn't hit him often, and they didn't put him away. Whereas the Mets put the Phillies away once they got their mojo on and outscored the Phillies 13-0. Again, it really just comes down for me to the pressure situation and the team not looking at it like that. And they pan over to Rob Thompson, especially when it was all coming apart with Romano. And again, I know that I'm not sitting here telling you that Jordan Romano's performance was the reason why this team lost this game. That's obviously it's not. It's part of it, but it's not the reason. But when Jordan was so erratic to start that inning, hitting a batter, walking a batter, and giving up a single, and not one time did somebody take a goddamn second to come out there and just either bide for time, settle the guy down, ask him how he was doing, nothing. They just all sat back and watched it unfold and did nothing to try to intervene with it. Now, there could be some, was Rob Thompson going to Jordan Romano in that situation? Was that a throwing up the white flag, trailing 6-3? I would hope that answer is no, and that you wouldn't be quitting on a game at 6-3. But was Rob Thompson in save the bullpen mode at that point by going to Romano in that situation in the first place? I hope not. 6-3 should not be an insurmountable lead for this team to overcome. But whatever, he went with them, and the Jordan Romano conversation will dictate and will probably run the day like he was responsible for this loss. He was, but he wasn't solely responsible. I hope they attack Bryce Harper and his rundown procedures with as much vim and vigor that they're going to come after Romano. I hope they go after Max Kepler and his out in right field doing what is he doing when you're trying to get runs, prevent more runs. You have a doable situation, a medium fly ball, a shallow fly ball. You could have had a shot at him, but he lobs it back into the cutoff man. So I hope they attack him as well. And I hope they come after Rob Thompson for asking questions like 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position, no runs after the third inning, all the above. Is this a team that's ready to go out and compete for a World Series? And I hope it's equally spread around the board, and that the homers out there don't single in on Romano and say, oh, he's the reason. Oh, yeah, and I forgot about Chris Sanchez. He should be open season tonight, too. Terrible performance by Chris Sanchez. Absolutely dreadful. Win one for Wheeler or win it for Wheeler, whatever their rally cry is. Remember Pearl Harbor, whatever it is. I don't know what it is. Where was that tonight? Nobody picked anybody up tonight. And possibly one of the more important games of the season to this point. You let the Mets creep a game in. Now you got to go out tomorrow, and is there an intensity tomorrow? Did it take them a game to wake up? Did they get into New York late last night, or is somebody coming out with that yet? Or did they not check into their hotel till like 3 a.m, and they're just a little sleepy? I mean, was that the reason? I mean, where's the excuse meter tonight? Where are all the homers at tonight? By the way, I miss you guys. I need to talk to you. Mets pitching is among the worst. Yeah, but they can hit, Barbara. And the Phillies, but so, we want to give the Mets the props, or you want to condemn the Mets pitching, which rightfully so. They're terrible, but the Phillies hitting has not been what you would call a model of consistency throughout the season. And the Phillies have a tendency to make bad pitchers look like Cy Young Award winners. Mediocre pitchers make them look like 20-game winners. And just absolutely terrible pitchers make them look like they have a chance at a Major League Baseball career. So that's the Phillies' MO too, is to let these pitchers look like they belong more than they really do. But it's just a very disheartening loss from a lot of different levels for me tonight. A lot of different levels. And we put ourselves in a situation. Yeah, 6-game lead. I get that. And I know it's not over. And I feel you there. And I have all the confidence in the world that this team is going to win this division. They will. They will win the NL East, and they'll get back to the playoffs. But this, to me, was so hit too close to home about how this team has performed in these high-pressure situations in the very recent past. This is what it's resounding to me more than anything else. The absence of any sort of intensity, the absence of any sort of like living in the moment, the absence of let's stop and take a second and calm the hell down. Again, where was anybody? Where was the intervening of pitching coach, catcher, the infield, or the manager during Jordan Romano's implosion? They just allowed it to happen. And that deadpan, no like life look that Rob Thompson has, God, he infuriates me just to look at his face as a manager. I mean, you got to hold a mirror under his nose to make sure he's still living. I hate managers like that. I've always hated them like that. I don't, I'm not all on the managers like the Aaron Boones that are constantly yakking and up and down, but come on, man, give me some life, Rob Thompson. Are you alive? Somebody give him a hot foot. Get some emotional reaction out of the guy, man. That deadpan nonsense is just so like, it's a complete reflection of the effort that his team gave out there tonight. And it concerns me and it scares me. Scares me to no end as we get deep into this when it really matters. Is this the effort, once again, we're going to see in these situations? 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position. No runs after the third inning yet again. And an implosion from the pitching, which is typically not what the Phillies do. Defense. Phillies in the last 5 games have committed 5 errors. I don't know if you guys have kept an eye on that. I have. Last 5 games, Phillies have committed 5 errors. They had 2 errors tonight. 2. Defense needs to be not a problem at this point of the season. You shouldn't be wondering about your defense with like 30 games left to go or 25 games left to go in the season. You really shouldn't be at that point anymore. But here we are. So Phillies lose 13-3. I'm pissed off. Are you? Are you mad? Am I taking this too seriously? Am I taking this way off of a different level? Is it one game of many? Or is there a sort of underlining theme with this game? Is there sort of an underlining hitting too close to home about this game when it comes to this team and its ability or lack of ability to perform in high pressure situations? And I'm asking you this honestly. It's one game of many. 6-game lead still remains in the NL East. What is the reaction of the Phillies faithful? What is your reaction to this? What is your takeaway? And give me what you want. Say what your takeaway was. Is this something just to kind of brush off? Now, baseball is that type of sport. You don't have much time to lament over these types of losses or enjoy wins because you got to get it going again less than 24 hours later. That's a good thing about the sport. So the Phillies can get out there tomorrow. Jesus Luzardo against Minaya. Could be nothing heading to the 9th inning, or it could be 17-16 heading to the 8th inning. Could be one of those games. Are you looking for more from the Phillies? Are you looking for, and I don't want to say it like this, you want to see style points from this team. You want to see a team that's competing, that's fighting, that wants to win this division, who's playing this series like it's an opportunity to put this baseball team in the Mets away, because it is. And right now, they're not taking advantage of it. Soto was going to be safe at second, even if Stott caught the ball because Bryce Harper screwed up the rundown. Screwed it up, Barbara. That's not even really giving it the proper credence. It was so bad, I'm yelling at the TV. What are you doing? Throw the ball. Again, for those of you who played the sport, like I did, and those of you who've been watching the sport for better part of all their lives, like I have, and those of you that are still employed in some capacity within the sport, like I am, understand how to properly execute a rundown. Or is again, as the kids call it these days, the pickle. It is as the first baseman, or in this position, the guy that the runner is advancing from. You got to get that ball right down to that person at that base. There is no, why are you doing that? No, because fundamentally you want to chase that runner back to the base he came from. Because if you do screw up the rundown, at least all that it is he just stays where he was. He doesn't advance. And this going down the line with Bryce Harper faking, what are you doing, dude? Throw the ball to second. Get out of the way, and then let the second baseman, or I guess in this case would have been the pitcher, continue with the rundown, and then JT would have come up and potentially been the other guy. But do your job, throw the ball, step the hell out of the way. Bryce Harper's he's chasing a guy down. Now, does Bryce Harper come under fire for that? Or does he get a pass? There was all the cannons aimed at Jordan Romano tonight, which they shouldn't be. He should get his cannons aimed at him, but not all of them. Terrible, terrible execution by the Phillies tonight defensively. All around. Again, that play, the Kepler play, and the outfield. What are you doing, man? Gun the ball in. You got to play at the plate. Most exciting play in all baseball, the play at the plate. And he lobs it into the cutoff guy like it's the third inning. And we got all this time to battle back. I don't get it, man. These are Major League Baseball players, right? These are MLB players. And they were playing like little leaguers out there tonight. Just absolutely disgraceful. So Phillies lose 13-3. 2-7 now, I think, on the season against the Mets, as they'll go at it tomorrow and try to salvage a little bit of this thing. I don't know. I don't know how I feel anymore, man. I really don't. Can't blame this one on Casty. Yeah, I mean, where the hell was he at tonight? What's the reason for not playing him? Was it a matchup thing again? I mean, is Kepler really? And that's another thing. And again, Rob Thompson deserves a lot of this too. Absolutely. This is one of these games that got Rob Thompson stamped all over it. In what world, honestly, at this point, at what we've seen from Max Kepler, both offensively and defensively, in what world does Max Kepler deserve to play over anybody? I don't care if it's lefty, righty, lefty. I don't care about the matchup. But in what world does Max Kepler deserve to play over anybody? After what we've endured with him for 5 months. Batting .215, he's absolutely worthless at the plate, and now he's apparently a liability in the outfield. So at what point, and is there something else going on? Is Rob Thompson actually being a disciplinarian at some point? Is he mad at Castellanos? Is there a rift? Is there a beef between Castellanos and his manager? But please, somebody explain to me, in what world does Kepler deserve to play over anybody on this baseball team? I really want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. I think Marsh is a photo of Thompson. Yeah. Photo of Thompson or Dombrowski or both, because he's the other one. In what world is he still doing out there? And Justin Crawford is in Lehigh Valley. You might be right, Barbara. I think he's got photos of both of them together. And I'll let you paint the rest of that picture. It's a kid-friendly show here. But Phillies lose 13-3. And tomorrow they'll be back at it. Hopefully tie this series up and then keep themselves in a position to win the series on Wednesday. And I will be the one taking you through Wednesday. Tomorrow, Steve Fuentes, and then I got you on Wednesday as we'll wrap up the Mets series and get ready for the Braves to come in this weekend. So 4-game set with the Braves over Labor Day weekend. Phillies are not playing on Labor Day, folks. I don't know if you realize that. They finish up the Braves series. They have Monday off, and they travel to Milwaukee let me look at this. Give me a second. So they're playing on Labor Day. Excuse me. They are playing on Labor Day. But then they have Tuesday off, and then they play Wednesday, Thursday. So a weird play on Labor Day, but have the next day off against the Brewers in a 3-game series in 4 days. So that's what we got to look forward to. We got the Braves and Brewers coming up. It's not going to get any easier for this team. It really isn't. All right, let's head over to the other night segment. All right, the other night segment here on the Final Word with Matty B tonight, brought to you by the great folks at the It's a Wrap Sports Network that bring you such shows as this one, the Birds Blast with Kyle Quinn, the quintessential and Eagle pregame show entertainment. Me and Kyle will be on weekly starting on Tuesday, September the 2nd at 7 p.m., and we will be coming at you previewing the Birds game that's coming up, and then also looking back at the previous Birds game this week or next week when we come back for our season 6 premiere. We will preview the NFL for you. We'll break the NFL down. We'll give you our division winners, our division last place teams, our wild cards, our championship game opponents, our Super Bowl opponents, obviously, and then our Super Bowl winners. And then we'll break down the Eagle Cowboy game as we get ready for the defense of the title, which will begin on Thursday, September the 4th. So starting on the 2nd of September at 7 p.m., the Birds Blast, the quintessential and Eagle pregame show entertainment, returns for its 6th season. Me and Kyle, 6 years together doing the show. It's amazing that I was able to endure him, or more importantly, he was able to endure me for 6 years. But we're going to get this thing rolling again here next week. So can't wait for that busy time of the year. All right, so tonight's Other Night segment, again, we're still talking Flyers, spotlighting players, looking ahead at some of the players that are going to be more than likely part of what the Flyers will do in 25-26. Last night, me and Mike did the Flyers review show of the 24-25 season. Obviously, that was way overdue, but we got it out of the way. And we actually talked about this guy as being part of the mix here this year. And, one of the danger areas of this team heading into the season, and one of the areas that I think will be a main factor of why I think they're not going to make the playoffs for a 6th straight year, is going to be between the pipes. And that's no secret to anybody. And we really didn't upgrade the position this summer. We really didn't do that. There are some prospects that are waiting their turn to get their opportunity to be the next greatest thing in Flyers history, but they're still a year or two away. One of them is, at least. So we got no choice but to go with a 1A, 1B. Sam Ersson will be the primary 1A, I guess. And all reports, as far as I know, is Fedotov and Kovalsov will not be part of the Flyers to at least start the season. But this guy will be, and that's the Flyers' new 1B, Dan Vladar, the former Calgary Flame last year, appeared in 30 games for the Flames, was a 12-11 with a 2.80 goals against average, but a 8.98 save percentage. Yeah, I mean, the 2.80 is nice. You definitely want to have a sub-3 GAA, but I'm just not digging the save percentage. And he only appeared in 30 games and was 12-11. So is it an upgrade over Ersson? I don't know. Maybe. Is it a significant upgrade over Ersson? No, it's not. But this is going to be it, man. It's going to be Vladar and Ersson's show next year. And again, I just have to accept that. We have to accept that until a better option appears. But I don't know if it's enough. I don't. And we'll have to wait and see. But there you have it. Real quick one tonight, man. The Flyers spotlight, Dan Vladar. And yeah, there's really not much more to say about that, honestly. Not a needle-moving move there by the Flyers in terms of the goalie situation. But, there's so many other problems on this team that they have a plan for it. It just doesn't, that plan's not going to take effect for at least a couple more years. All right, so Phillies lose 13-3. Eagles are starting to make some noise around the NFL as teams scramble to get down to 53 men. I believe the Eagles today released one of their players that they signed as a free agent to compete for the offensive line. Kennard, I think his name was, the offensive lineman. He got cut. Kenny Pickett is on the move again. The Browns today traded him to the Raiders. So Pickett will be on his way to Vegas, which then de facto means Pickett's going to be coming to Philly, as the Eagles will play the Raiders this year at home. I think at home, right? Are they at home against the Raiders? I think they are. So we'll probably be getting a chance to see Kenny Pickett again, which I don't know if you guys really care about that. Does he get his ring then, or did they already send it to him? Who knows? So the Eagles are anticipating Eli Ricks, I think, also got the boot today by the Eagles, as they're starting to leak out players that are getting cut from the roster. Tomorrow, the 53-man roster will be complete, and obviously it'll be the main talking point on a lot of shows. This one will not be any different. We'll dwell into the 53-man roster, but in anticipation of that roster cut, there's a couple players that I'm very, very interested in seeing whether or not they make this team and what the overall effect of them not making the team would be. And the first player is AJ Dillon. Remember that? I heard all this, it was a great move, brilliant move by Howie Roseman, signing a guy that hasn't played football since 2023. He's going to provide depth in that running back room. Now there's a lot of rumbles and grumblings that AJ Dillon will not make this team, that he hasn't really done anything spectacular in the summer or in preseason, and that this could potentially go with a running back room of Shipley, Saquon, and Van Summeren. So I asked this question to Joe Hale last night, and maybe I should have done some research, but a fullback is listed as a running back. So there's not a separate spot on a roster full of fullback. They're considered in the running back room. So Van Summeren would actually take up a roster spot as a running back, which is interesting because if you're looking at your three running backs being Saquon, Shipley, and Van Summeren, I don't know if that's enough, man. That's a thin room. That's a very thin room, especially if something does happen with Saquon injury-wise starting the season or at any point during the season. And say what you want about Kenny Gainwell, and I was not a Kenny Gainwell guy, but boy, he did come in and provide you some yards and some snaps and some carries when you needed it. And he did try to take the load off of Saquon as much as you needed to from a guy that was rushed over 2,500 yards last year. But Kenny Gainwell was that change of pace guy. And do we have that? And the Matt Shipley, when I conjure up images of Matt Shipley, it's the guy that couldn't make it down the field on a breakaway touchdown run, ran out of gas, like around the 5-yard line. So I don't know. Maybe I'm too harsh on that guy, but I don't know if the running back room is deep enough to start this season. If AJ Dillon doesn't make this team, and then even if he does make the team, I don't know if it's deep enough. But then, of course, the secondary. Now, with all these teams cutting all these players, there are some names. I think Stephon Gilmore got cut today. He's out there. There's going to be some names that are going to be available that the Eagles can bring in to help out at cornerback, and I'm sure Howie will comb the waiver wire. Eli Ricks is reportedly been cut. Does Keely Ringo get cut? And I think that's going to be a very interesting. I'll be very curious to see that because again, what has Keely Ringo done as a non-special teamer to deserve a roster spot on this team? And if he does get cut, does that mean Adoree Jackson makes the team, or does Adoree Jackson get cut and Keely Ringo make the team? I just really, really am curious to see how they're going to handle the cornerback situation tomorrow. And then, of course, any kind of follow-on players that might be brought in here. So, we're coming into 10 days before the start of the season, 9 days, whatever we are, 9 days away. And there's still some questions on this football team. And primarily for me, they are in the backfield offensively and in the backfield defensively. So cut down day is upon us. It'll be here tomorrow. And we'll know by this time tomorrow or long before this time what the 53-man roster of the Philadelphia Eagles will be. And very interested to see the fate of some players as we get to the end of this. Joe Hale, what's going on? It's Will Shipley. It's Will Shipley. That's Joe Hale. Ringo makes it for special teams again. But is that what you drafted Keely Ringo out of as a third-round selection for, Joe Hale? That's what we're doing now. We're specializing in drafting special teamers. Obviously, they want a little bit more out of Keely Ringo, Joe, and that's my point. Is he ready to provide that? And at what point do you say, you know what? I mean, he's on his rookie deal. I guess it's a cheaper option to keep him on the roster as a special teamer. He does that sort of well. And obviously, you're not going to offer him a contract when his rookie deal expires. But is it if Keely Ringo? Okay, so say Keely Ringo makes the team, but is only a special teamer and a depth guy, can you start calling him a bust as a draft pick? Or I know the homers they tread lightly now when talking about Howie's draft record. They don't want to. There's categories of bust. They say that certain rounds of the draft cannot be considered bust because they were taken lower in the draft. You can't call a third round pick a bust because he wasn't a first or second. They make the rules up as they go. So what I'm trying to say, but does Keely Ringo get classified as a draft bust? Along with Nakobe Dean. I mean, let's face it. Nakobe Dean, when he's available, is a difference maker. The problem is he's never available, and that is part of the player's makeup. So, going to be an interesting day tomorrow, as we await the final 53-man roster. I see Joe Hales checking in on YouTube. I know, Joe, that Facebook did not carry the broadcast tonight. I want to apologize. A last-minute technical issue at Facebook. I had to drop it from tonight's broadcast. So if those of you that are looking for us on Facebook, unfortunately, you're not going to find us there. That's not tonight, but I'm sure we'll be back there tomorrow night. Technical problems, you got to handle them as you go. So the Eagles and the rest of the NFL are making moves. Kenny Pickett is now a Raider as he gets moved from the Browns today. I guess to serve as a primary backup out there. They lost their backup quarterback due to a shoulder injury, so he'll be stepping in to be the primary backup out in Vegas for Geno Smith. So we'll see how Kenny Pickett does and all that other stuff. And, of course, tomorrow the big story will be the 53-man roster. And here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network tomorrow, on the Final Word, the big story will be Jack Fritz. 94 WIP's Jack Fritz will be joining us at some point during the show tomorrow. I hope to get him on early on, but if not, we'll pick him up as we move through the show. So make sure you're there for that. It should be fun. Me and Jack go back some ways. We have a relationship, so we know each other. So we'll have some fun there. So let's wrap up the show tonight with, of course, my favorite. All right. MattyB's card review tonight. Never got to the card review last night, nor did we get to the other night segment last night, as I had to cut it short. But we're here tonight, and we're back on track. And the card review segment is modern day era, 2024 Topps to be precise. One of the insert cards that Topps likes to do, the little special, tandem cards. They have those, like, they put out maybe 6 to 10 cards per set, and they feature some sort of catchy little line, like former teammates was 1 year of players that used to play together. Now they're on opposite teams. They were featured in one of the sets. I think that was in 2024 as well, actually. Tonight, we're going to focus in on the 2024 insert of Dynamic Duo. That was one of the things that Topps was looking at in 2024, and there was about 20 of these Dynamic Duo cards produced with various Dynamic Duos featured on them. And we have a card from a local product. That's right, a local Phillies teammates made the Dynamic Duo in 2024 Topps, and we're going to look at that card tonight. And here it is. It's the JT Realmuto Aaron Nola Dynamic Duo card from 2024 base Series 1. I'm sorry, Series 2. Series 2 base card number 428 in the set. Anytime you're, as a baseball card guy, or even as any sports card guy, you always gravitate towards your team stuff. When you see it in the pack or you see it in the pile, you always look at Phillies cards in baseball. I always do. Even if it's for some of the scrubbier players in Phillies history, I still take a second look at them when I come across them, and I have a moment of, well, what do I do with this card? Do I put it in a place of reverence, or do I stick it in the team box? What do I do with it? This card is absolutely worthless on any market. It's like a $2 baseball card right now. Now, the parallels of this card, meaning the refractors, the foil versions of this card, they're a little bit more valuable, not much more. But this card in its base form, as we look at it here, is somewhat worthless. But it has sentimental value to me because it's a Phillies card. And it does feature two of the more prolific Phillies of this era, and that's JT Realmuto and Aaron Nola. And so with that all being said, even though it's only a $2 baseball card now, it goes in the binder. So you're looking at again, this is sort of done in that the 2024 Topps set, as you can see the word Phillies up there on the right-hand corner, very block lettery, very plain. And that was how they did it that year for all the teams, the logo down there on the left-hand side. The front of the card primarily taken up by the pitcher with some work being done to a multicolored border, but just pretty plain Jane across the board for 2024 Topps. On the back of this card, if you flip it over, it just has a checklist of all the other dynamic duo cards featured in the 2024 Topps Series 2 set. And there you go. I mean, again, worthless financially, but obviously a special place in my heart because it's a Phillies card, and all Phillies cards have a special place in my heart. And that one is no different. But there you have it, the 2024 Topps Series 2 dynamic duo featuring JT Realmuto and Aaron Noda. So there's your card review of the night. Oh, and Joe says he's that's right, Joe, you're going to the game tomorrow. Driving up to Citi Field, man. Gonna be, listen, if it's any indication of what was tonight, it's going to be a playoff atmosphere up there, Joe. Enjoy it. Enjoy it accordingly. And I hope for your sake, for your 2-hour drive and probably 4 hours with traffic in the middle of the day, going from outside the Philadelphia area and cutting all the way up through Metro New Jersey and into the city, you're probably going to spend a lot of time sitting and watching on the side of the road. But for your sake, I hope the hell it's competitive, and I hope it's a good game. Win or lose, I just hope it's a good game. It's a better effort than they put out tonight. No show on Wednesday. The Phillies have a night game. Yeah, and I will not be here. That's right, because I have the final. So I will not be doing a show tomorrow. Did we get 2 cards? No, Joe, I did not do 2 cards tonight. Just did the one. I know you wanted 2. I disagreed with that thinking. I don't owe you a card. No, I just didn't put together a second card. But we'll do one tomorrow. I'll tell you what, Joe, I owe you a second card. Somewhere down the line, I'll throw in a second card for you. It'll be out of, I'll write it, make a little note, and then make sure that I somehow, at some point, deliver on that. So, all right, good night to you too, Barbara. Thank you for tuning in. You come and go all the time. I need you to be more consistent, Barbara. You're kind of acting like the Phillies right now, but it's always good when you're here. Thank you, Joe. And that will bring us to the end of another program tonight. Phillies lose 13-3, dominating story. Not the win and loss. I want to be very specifically clear about that. To me, it's not the win or the loss. It's the way they lost. It just the futile pitching effort, defensive effort, and offensive. And any way you can screw up a baseball game, the Phillies were able to do that tonight and got embarrassed by a team that apparently is still thinking they have a shot at the NL East in the Mets. The Phillies need to wake up and be a better team tomorrow. This is not over. They have not won anything. And again, it scares me that we see an effort like we did tonight, because it reminded me all too easily of how it went down last year and how it ended. And I got those very familiar feelings watching that game, that we're right back where we were. And that's what scares me the most about what happened tonight. I'm painting my face like you said to do. Okay, there you go, Joe. Don't blame me, though, when you're in some local Queens lockup with Phillies paint all over your face. Don't call me. Don't call me, man. But good luck, Joe. Have fun. I've never been to Citi Field, so have fun out there. Enjoy yourself. Hope for a Phillies win, and have a safe trip home tomorrow or whenever you're coming back. So, listen, we'll talk again tomorrow night. I'll be back at following the Fighting's final. Jack Fritz from 94 WIP will be my special guest tomorrow night, as he'll jump in at some point during the show, and we'll be cutting up probably this game tomorrow night and maybe talking about what happened here tonight. And we'll have some fun with the Eagles too. 53-man roster cut down day is tomorrow, so we'll have that to talk about, and everything that we always do on the program, the Day in Philadelphia Sports History, your of the night segment, and your card review, all that and more on the Final Word with MattyB. So till we talk again tomorrow, you guys have a great rest of your night and even better tomorrow. Take care.